there. But
Yeah.
remember, when you got the idea, you got freaking excited like a kid. So when you get that inspiration, or, well, yeah, I want to do that. I'd love to try that. What would that be like? As soon as you get the inspiration, act, shoot,
Mm.
go.
Mm.
And worry about the how later on, because you're never going to know the how.
Your success and growth all start in your mind. So get ready for another mind shift. Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're just discovering me, my name is Joshua Kangley, and this show is all about positivity, motivation, and inspiration. And boy, do I have an inspirational story for you today with our next guest, who happens to be a former Mr. America. This guy is a true hero. He's actually a mentor and has been such an inspiration to me personally. We'll get to him in just a moment. First, if you're wondering who in the heck is Joshua Kangley, please go to www.hellomynameisjosh.com. There you can learn more about me, all you need to know about me, and also all my podcasts and shows are all archived there for your pleasure. And if you have any questions, please email me at josh@hellomynameisjosh.com. Any questions about me, any guest on the show, or if you think you know someone who should be on the show, please email me, josh@hellomynameisjosh.com. Also, if you're liking the content, and I hope you do, please like, share, and subscribe. That would help me out immensely as I try and make this show grow, this channel grow, and continue to keep the conversation going with sharing positivity and inspiration. Also, turn on notifications. That way we can remind you when a new mind shift does drop. A new mind shift, a new guest, and a new conversation each week, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Central. Now, on to our next guest. He is a former Mr. America. He also got his pro card in 2016. Now, this individual, this man, overcame a huge medical issue in his life. He then went on to dedicate his life to health and helping others become healthy and reach their full potential in life. He also has grown one of the biggest practices in chiropractic history there is. An unbelievable hero, a true guiding light. I'm proud and I'm so blessed to present to you my conversation with Dr. Chris Zaino. Let's go to that conversation now. Dr. Zaino, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Josh. I appreciate you having me on again. It's an honor.
Thank you. Absolutely, thank you. You know, like I was telling you, you've been like a guiding light to me, like a mentor to me from far away. And, you know, I know the last time we talked was kind of a while ago, pre-COVID, pre all this stuff going on. But you're a true hero. You're a true guiding light. And, you know, before we get into all that and more, real quick, can you introduce yourself? Remind folks who you are just discovering this show.
Oh, dude, I have so many things in my life. That's half hour. You know what? I'm a guy that became extremely successful in very, very extremely different, unrelated areas of my life because I live by a set of success principles. You know, I kind of found for myself a formula that worked for me, and I know that if the litmus test of will I be able to do the discipline and the other principles to be able to achieve this goal, that it's a formula and it gets there and it works. But, you know, I have to really be in love with it. I have to enjoy it. So whether it be, you know, being a bodybuilding champion, a concert pianist, building a very large wellness company, and just really whatever I love and I have the desire to do, it's very fulfilling and I enjoy doing it. Where at the same time, I could tell you I've done things and I did not follow my own litmus test, and I did it for different reasons, or my heart wasn't into it, or it became, and then it felt very heavy and very clunky, and I was average at best with a lot of hard work and not really seeing the results of it. So there's just a certain amount of key principles and things we could talk about today that allows me to do that. So when you see my highlight reel, you see all the wins, but you know, I had my own fair share of averages and defeats because I just kind of didn't follow my own advice.
You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, you know, you do have a lot of accomplishments,
Mm.
and that's what I'm interested in. As far as also learning from the if you want to call it learning, mistakes or failures. What has driven you though? What has been your driver? What has been the inspiration?
Well, first of all, I believe we're spiritual beings going through a physical experience. And spirit was, as a spiritual being, we were always created for growth and expansion. And I've noticed even, it's funny, Josh, even in my life, because I witnessed this, even in my profession,
Mm.
when I actually hit like the top of the world in that, and that's crazy, right? At the top of the world, I found myself depressed, numb, and bored and unsatisfied. And a lot of people, I don't want to say anything because it would look very ungrateful. Oh, you're just being ungrateful. And I realized that the advice we were given, oh, you just need to be content and satisfied, is absolutely 100% wrong. It's
Mm.
against your spiritual makeup. We
Mhm.
are constantly, the universe, it's constantly expanding and growing and contributing. So I want everybody to know out there is that the feeling of dissatisfaction or not being satisfied, that is an actually mindset of growth. That's a mindset of growth and expansion because we're here to continually expand. We're not here to get to a certain point and stay. Because I got to the point and I said, oh, let's just keep it here. And that was one of the most depressing, boring, heavy. You see, notice the words I'm saying,
Mhm.
unmotivating. But the bank account was doing it like on the materialistic side and the check the boxes off side was doing great. But I realized, you know what? Even if it means me doing something that may not do as well financially, but it actually caused another area of my life to grow and expand and contribute in a different way or learn,
Mm.
it's absolutely worth it. So I think the way we keep moving forward and feeling satisfied or not satisfied is satisfaction comes from continual growth and experiencing new wonderful things in life. So that's where I felt like being satisfied, being content. It's just false dogma that I think we were fed in school. We were fed religious dogmas, fed us that, and I really think it is a huge component of depression.
Yes. I found myself about maybe probably about 10 years ago in a kind of comfort zone, people might
Mhm.
call it, in that you're just describing, and it was depressing. It was just the worst time of my life, and it wasn't until I made some real dramatic changes in my life that life started to kind of come back again, and I expanded from there. So thank you for mentioning that, because
Yeah,
that's a huge component to it. So let's get into some of these
yeah.
components you're talking about, or these key principles that you're talking about to your success. What are they, and what do they look like to you, and how can we apply them?
Right, right. So what I found is like first you have to have like what people don't realize, the only thing that if anybody asks like, so why are you doing this or why do you want to do that, the only reason, the only answer you need to tell them is because you want to. So it's as simple as you want. I mean, it's easy that you could see something on TV or on social media and be like, oh, I want to do that. Like, don't worry about the how. Don't worry about even how it's logical.
Mhm.
Because, right, that's what happens because it's the how, it's the conscious mind, it's the logical basing your past events, and you let your past dictate the logic and the how. Or you Google and you let maybe what your family members have done or friends in the past, and you say, well, this is not logical, or how am I going to do this? And you talk yourself out of it. But
Mhm.
really, when we get that excitement, what's it like when you want to do, when you say, man, that's cool, I want to do that. You notice how I become very childlike. Even when I said that, it's like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. I would love, man, I would love to try that. I would love to go there. So immediately, when you have that inspired feeling, that's inspired, guys. That's inspired means from within. It's like spiritual fresh air.
Hmm.
And then what happens is you're excited about it, and then you try to use logic and ask other people's opinion. And what happens? It gets quenched. It gets heavy. It's like and it keeps you exactly where you're at, and it frustrates you. So notice those things: frustration, heavy, no movement. So those are not good vibrations right there. But
Yeah.
remember, when you got the idea, you got freaking excited like a kid. So when you get that inspiration, or yeah, I want to do that. I'd love to try that. What would that be like? As soon as you get the inspiration, act, shoot,
Mhm.
go,
Mm.
and worry about the how later on because you're never going to know the how. Like when someone climbs a mountain, they don't know how they're going to get there, but when they hit the top of the mountain, then they look back and then they could see it. Like Steve Jobs even said, you only could connect the dots looking back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even you and I, Josh, like how the hell did I meet Josh? Or like if I said 5 years ago, I'm going to meet this guy Josh, I would have absolutely no idea on how it happened. But now looking back, you and I could connect the dots beautifully. It was just, just like sewing a beautiful garment, right? It just fits perfectly. So
Yeah.
you never see, if you're waiting to see how the pieces are going to fit, you don't. You see it looking back. So Steve Jobs was correct there. So get that out of your head. You shoot for it. You course correct because I want it, because I desire it like a child, because it's exciting to me. It doesn't feel heavy like work. Like, for instance, even in my wellness practice, that part of my life has to transition out. I mean, I spent 2 hours there. Two. No one feel bad about me for spending 120 minutes. It was the longest, heaviest, tired, fatiguing, easy, boring 2 hours of my life. I mean, like it
Wow.
was and yes, I'm grateful for it, but that cloud has moved. So if you're feeling those heavy things, guys, but here's the problem, Josh. The reason why we don't make the leap is we are only aware of the things we could lose. We're
Mm.
unaware of all we could gain, right? Because Josh, right now,
Yes.
if you and I said, hey, buddy, let's go to Croatia, let's start a business, you and I only know what we could lose right now, right? Well, I'm going to have to do this and maybe my clinic will get, like, you and I just could only see the stuff we're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't get to see the fulfillment and the actual things that we'll gain, that would just be so beautiful and wonderful, right? We only could
Yeah.
see in the reality, like if I leave, I'm going to lose this mouse. So, like I could touch it.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. So that's what keeps us back from moving forward. So it's real quick. It starts, guys, with a simple childlike, wow, that would be cool. That'd be cool to go to Greece. That'd be cool to start that business. Wow, wouldn't that be neat? You have to have the desire to want to do it. I want it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you have to desire like a kid to do it, right? Oh, I really want it. And the only way now, Josh, in order to know if you could do it or not, is you don't think about it, you go for it.
Go
And
for
then when I go for it, Josh, because remember, I know I want it, I have the desire, right? I'm like a kid about it. And then the only way I know if I could get it or not is I have to go for it and then prove to myself, if I do my best, if it'll work or not. So I'm going to allow myself a gestational period. It's called the law of gender. The law of gender states that there's a gestational period in all things. A carrot takes 70 days. A
Wow.
baby takes 9 months. So knowing that time plays a factor, I have the idea. I want it. I get excited about it. I get emotional about it. So it's a very emotional thing and exciting. And then I go for it, and I must prove to myself if it's going to work or not. And the way
Yes.
I prove to is I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to find the Joshes. I'm going to find people that are already doing it at a certain level. I'm going to hire them, apprentice to them, sit at their feet, and shrink the time gap, because they're doing it just a little bit. They're a little bit further ahead than I am, and I go for it. And I have to prove to myself. I either prove to myself it was a great idea, or I gave it my best and it didn't work. But if it didn't work, Josh, I need to ask myself, did I give it the absolute best I can? And if
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say yes, then I feel good about that. And I learned a lot. If I say, you know what, I was scared, I didn't invest as much, I didn't really take the risk the way I should have, then I reset a time goal again and be like, well, now I'm going to give it a fair shot, because at least we need to prove to ourselves
Yes.
it didn't work, right? So prove it. Prove to yourself it didn't work. If you don't think it's going to work, prove it. Go for
Mm-hmm.
like first try it, go for it. And then if it didn't, given it all you had, then you could say, yeah, it didn't. But you cannot make that call without even taking the first step.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for touching on that, because it speaks to me big time. Like, that happened in my life. And,
Yeah.
it's so, like, when you put it, you're absolutely right. When you have that inspiration, you do get childlike. And that's kind of an inspiration that we should be paying attention to, right?
It's a creative inspiration.
Yes.
I mean, a child like it, it's not childish, it's childlike, and it's the
Yes.
most creative power. Is it like,
Yes.
just think kids think and dream, and what happens? They go to school, they get suppressed. Their parents force upon their dogmas and their filter of life upon them. And we start to quench a child's dreams and imagination, mental faculty, right? Intuition, imagination, creative power. These are all mental faculties we were born with. We didn't need to go to school. In fact, all that stuff quenched it.
Mm.
It gave you a false reality. So it's keeping the creativeness going. I think a lot of you that are listening or watching, if I ask you, how creative are you right now? Many of you are going to say, oh my God, I'm not creative at all, because you're tired, right? You're doing something that's just totally sapping your well. Your well's empty, it's dry. So at first comes off where really giving you some time, it's giving you some space to dream again.
Mm.
Like a kid. I think, and people are like, why try to dream? Yeah, you try to dream, but that mature adult mind immediately kicks in and tells you how unrealistic it is. Dream, guys. Look at Elon Musk. The
Mm.
guy's a dreamer. He's a
Yeah.
dreamer. He puts in 160 hours a week. Why? Because he's a kid. Like when we enjoy doing things, like Josh, look at all the hours you put in. When you're putting hours into something that's fulfilling, it's like it refills you. It's like the act of doing it recharges you.
Mm-hmm.
If I took a nap, if I took a nap or could do something that I enjoy doing that's fulfilling, I'll get more energy. Like this conversation right here is way more fulfilling, way more energetic. I'm going to be extremely pumped from the time we have together versus me taking a nap for the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people think they need rest. No, you don't need rest, guys. You need to do something in your life, a hobby or something that's fulfilling, that lights you on fire again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Let's transition into the pandemic and kind of
Yep.
2020 and stuff
Yep.
like this. How have you been able to pivot through this? Because we've talked before this. So just kind of how have you been able to
Yeah.
pivot through all this, and any insights on it
Yeah.
for others?
Well, first, what I did is I became a victim like everybody else.
Mm.
I sat, I whined, I cried, and I was a little for sure. Because the problem with this, Josh, is you weren't talking to someone that didn't want to work. You didn't talk to someone who wanted a stimulus check.
I know that.
I got extremely, extremely disappointed at the human race and what a
Mm.
bunch of they became. Like, but this was all me becoming a victim.
Mm.
Like, wow, even if I wanted to work, Josh, I couldn't, right? So I had every reason to sit
Yep.
down and say, no, like the world is against me, all that stuff. And wow, you know what? All you Americans and the way you vote and stuff, like whatever happens, you deserve every friggin' thing you get. Hopefully you're under a socialist friggin' regime and your life sucks. Like that's like, so just to let you know, as positive as a guy I am, I went through the stages of grieving. I got
Mm.
angry, and the thing is, it's power over force, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I was losing. When you get angry, you lose your power, and
Mm.
you try to push with force. So I try to force it. I try to bench it harder. I try to say I'm not wearing the, I like it. I don't wear a mask either, but like I try to go against and fight the world
Yeah.
and their fear and scarcity. You know what? I realized that's a tough battle, man.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's like, so instead of, I had to pivot and be like, okay, how do I course correct? How
Mm.
do I, how do I, it's time to wipe the canvas clean.
Yes.
Time to see what's working now. Yeah. And it sucked, man. I'm a speaker, guys. I would speak 5 or 6 times a week doing seminars because the way I built my entire companies was high education, high story. I
Mm-hmm.
educate with great story. I build
Mm-hmm.
rapport and I Pied Piper everybody in. I mean, mass. So imagine my vehicle of influence was shut down overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right. So now Chris has to become a better Facebook marketer. Chris has to start thinking telemedicine. Like I have to, you know what? I had to course correct. And yes, I kicked and screamed along the way, but it's like, if I don't want to become a dinosaur, or if I didn't like the feeling of becoming that victim. I don't like that feeling. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's time to rise above. Then you saw companies. How many companies
Oh.
became got desolated? But how many companies uh, thrived?
Mm.
Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, like blew up. I'm like, why they blew up? And then I started feeling good for them. I like to see them. I'm like, you know what? Good for them, man. They won because they were able to see something in the future. And like,
Yes.
you know what? I wasn't there. I was thinking it would, like, we never saw this coming.
Mm-mm.
And we thought it would last for 14 days. And so I started saying, you know what? I'm going to start being a student again. I'm going to start to see what works. And you know what? I got to start trying stuff out. And what we don't like about trying is you're going to try some things and some are going to work, some are going to be okay, and some of them aren't going to work. So I had to go through the whole tuition thing again. Listen, I just, hey, I'm going to spend money. I'm going to pick these three things. I'm going to try marketing wise. That sucked. That did okay. That's pretty decent. And you know what? And just start relearning a new model that
Mm.
works a little bit better today, and really taking away my expectations. Because like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would make these expectations. If they weren't hit, I would get frustrated. So like, listen, what's going to at least move the needle forward? And then the great thing, Josh, is I started looking. I want everybody to write this down. Acres of Diamonds. There was a book called Acres of Diamonds. And I started looking outside my profession or what I did, saying, okay, well, maybe I need to get into some type of something that was pandemic proof. Maybe I should own landscaping companies. Maybe I should, right? Like you start looking outside your zone of genius
Yeah.
on just something that'll be sustainable during the next pandemic. Because
Mm.
the way the world reacted, I know it'll happen again. So then I realized looking within what I did, it's like, how many acres of diamonds do I have? Like I'm looking outside what I do, but right in front of me, what do I have? So I started
Mm.
thinking of new ideas or new opportunities or other multiple streams of income that did not require touch. Guys, I'm a doctor. I'm very high touch. So what doesn't require touch? And then I started, seeing these things and implementing them. And then you got excited again because you could see, hey, listen, no matter what happens, if you take away my touch point or my brick and mortar, then I have all these other areas that are still income producing, helping people, giving a sense of fulfillment. And so it actually, so yes, I would just want to make sure I said that. Oh man, I grieved and I kicked and punched and got angry at the world and at humanity. Like if I
Yes.
could move to another planet, I would have. But then I realized that, you know what, it's okay. It's a human emotion.
Mhm.
And I let that anger become a chip on my shoulder to rise above, say, this is more than ever. I need to give more value to people, to raise my income even more, to have a more sustainable model. So we could actually rise above and face it, guys, the more successful you are, the more comfortable during these times. There's plenty of
Mm.
people on a boat in the on the Maldives right now or in Monaco living a pretty normal life, but they earn their way there. So it's like it gave me
Yeah.
even more of a fire to earn even more and become even a higher earner to almost earn our way. Dean Graciosa says the best. You could write a check for a lot of stuff, guys. And they're like, wow, if I could just raise the bar and give more value and service, it could actually allow me and my sons and stuff to actually rise out of being just part of the status quo. So that was kind of the chip on my shoulder. And now things are getting really, really good for sure.
Yeah, thank you for being honest and sharing that because I think we all felt that way, just kicking, screaming, but you're right. To wipe the slate clean, like you said, and get excited again, I think is important. And hopefully we got some positives coming out of this. Like you said, learning
Yep.
to prepare for something like this, like you said, I think is important.
And
Now,
Josh, really a good thing, real quick, before just for
yes.
everybody's listening. Everybody's listening. I realized I got to the point that says, you know what? I had all these ideas that I wanted to try, but my current model of business was very comfortable and predictable. I didn't try those kind of new ideas. So this allowed me to say, hey, let's try hey, what a better time than now to try these new ideas. So if these ideas were in the back of your head and these ideas were usually inspired into you for maybe such a time as this, maybe it's a good time to say, you know what, those ideas I had, let's give it a shot.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what inspired me to kind of do this show, Mind Shift. So, and you're the perfect guest to have on the show. I love your mindset, super driven, and thank you again for being honest about that. You talk about a hero a lot, being a
Yeah.
hero, finding your inner hero.
Yeah.
How can we find our inner hero in 2020? People are just like some people are still just having that attitude. So, how can we get shaken out of this and still find our inner hero here in 2020?
So the inner hero is, remember, a hero is a dealer of hope, right? So just think of a burning building and people are reaching out and they're super scared, right? And then when you see the hero come, the comic book hero come, the situation's the same. The building's still on fire. People still crazy, but people get a sense of hope when they show up. So
Mm.
what about that person gave them hope? The circumstance is exactly the same. So understand a hero is a dealer of hope. A hero has courage. That means that the hero is still scared, guys.
Hmm.
Scared, right? But courage means that you're going forward even though you're scared. And when you could do that, you become an example and you shine the light to others. Like, so when you show your courage and you show your light, you give other people permission to show their courage and light as well. And I think when it comes to hero, it really goes back to um, that childlikeness again,
Mm.
dreaming again, getting excited again. If you guys have kids, it's probably a little bit easier to understand what I'm talking about. But I think it's reconnecting with that creative genius who you are. I mean, you came fully equipped with it. And that's what it is. So it's becoming creative again, giving yourself permission to make mistakes, giving yourself permission to learn new things, giving yourself permission to try new things, and knowing that there's no failure, guys. It's only temporary defeat.
Mm.
And let me tell you, every temporary defeat, I hate using the word failure, I learned
Yeah.
something. Like, I never walked away from a defeat going, well, what I didn't learn anything there. No, 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 I learned. And so those are so valuable.
Yes.
I never learn in the victory. I learn in the temporary defeat. So, uh, the more of you, the more of those you get in the beginning, you learn pretty quick. But I'm telling you, but it stings, but it comes with such a level of gratitude for learning. And I
Mm.
think it's a lesson that you learn and you really learn it. It's like, because Josh, if you told me, hey, Chris, I tried this, I found this happen, and I could take your advice, but when it viscerally happened to me and I felt it, it's going to be something that not only can I teach from experience, but it's gonna be it's a full learning experience
Mm.
to course correct
Mhm.
for sure. Like, I tried TV now, and the elections, they don't run all my commercials, and so it's
Yes.
you're learning these. That's just an example. So you understand, guys. There's no failure. There's just temporary defeat. And when you see the temporary defeat and you ask the question, what did I need to learn here? But
Mm.
be very careful. What do I need to learn here? Your lesson may be true or it may not be true. Well, what did I learn here? Well, people just don't buy today. That's bullshit, right? So,
Yeah.
so be very careful on the lesson you feel you're learning. Let it be a constructive lesson. Like, I like the course correction. It's like, so, okay,
Mhm.
I learned not to run an ad on this time, but you run it. Oh, we need to say this on the phone versus saying this on the phone. So you just play with the variables, like tuning a violin, but it's still easy to fall back into a generalization that may not be true. So that's why I just say course correct with caution.
Yes, yes, I like that. So we've had the pandemic happening,
Yep.
but what's in the works for you, Chris? Like, what do you see coming down the line for you, or what do you hope? What's your future outlook look like?
Oh, I mean, it's wonderful. So what I did is, thank God of this pandemic. I wanted, like I said, you know what? I'm going to explore kind of ideas I wanted to explore. So I really have a heart, and I love women. I love you, trust me. But I have a heart for men 40 to 65.
Hmm.
These are men that, like I'm saying, they might be feeling burnt out or stuck or too comfortable, and they
Mhm.
lost that fire. And it's not just on a mindset issue. They were trying to be so successful in their business, they let their body go to waste,
Mhm.
right? So they gain the weight. And like, I noticed that what a lot of people I coach and consult, a way to the mind is through the body. When you start eating correctly, when you start taking care of your health and exercising, your brain turns on, right? And so when your brain turns on and you're more clear minded, those ideas come in. So instead of, I know mindset is so much, but a lot of times in the beginning, I biohack my when I consult, I go through the body first. So I get them eating well, I get their routine, I get their body going, I get their chemistry right. Because medicinally, I could look at hormones and all these other things. And once we get the chemistry right, I can now easily biohack right into the mind, because now the mind is open. It's not foggy anymore, and then that creativity starts coming back, and then we can work,
Yes.
because the discipline and business skills and mindset of many of the business entrepreneurs, that's there, but you notice their health went away.
Mm.
And when I
Mm.
see someone let their body go, that lack of discipline bleeds to every area of their life. So if I know, if I could help them with one discipline, which is health, which is the greatest asset you have, and commodity, then I realized I know I could get right into that mind and really see them make a quantum leap. So I've been able to help so many gentlemen quantum leap by actually going through the body first. And this is what I did. I was able to combine my skills. So not only am I good at mindset, but having, my doctorate and be able to help in medicinal and blood work and nutrition, like what I combine all my skills together,
Yeah.
giving them something that other coaches or consultants don't have. So working with a lot of CEOs, the big thing I see is their relationships are out of whack and their body is to crap. And
Mhm.
I have to get to, the only way I could get to that stubborn mind is by reworking the body and getting their chemistry correctly. So I started a company called Stallion, and it's based out of Atlanta. It's a brick and mortar that deals with stem cells and actual like brick and mortar actual procedures, stem cells, everything from aesthetics and hair and chemistries and all the way down to guys that right, because you'd be amazed on how many guys due to stress that area doesn't work in their life. Their confidence goes down. Their relationship sucks. So there's so many things a very powerful man will not tell you about. And so we get all that back. And then we also then have that with, right? So I need to find what is a model that even during a pandemic, it doesn't go away. So if someone's on a nutritional routine and their health is a monthly ongoing subscription of medicinals,
Mm.
pandemic, no pandemic, it's still monthly,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
never goes away. So I really got into more of a monthly subscription type model that is a utility of life that doesn't go away.
Mm.
And so during the pandemic, you could close all the brick and mortars, but I still have this online, non-touch, telemedical type of way to still help gentlemen between the ages of 40 and 65 become stallions again. They really,
Yeah.
and it's something, and it's very congruent. It's something I do as well. I'm going to be 44. I'm in the best shape of my life. And I know that taking care and having discipline in physical areas of my life have absolutely changed my mindset, allowed me to do what I'm able to do. And I could tell you, like when I'm not taking care of myself physically, it's like a fog is over my brain, and my creativity is little to none.
That's really awesome that you're doing that because I fall in that age range and even that demographic you're talking about. So, I mean, for myself, I can see that being very useful for me. So thank you for what you're doing. I know you've dedicated your life to health and transforming people. So just thank you for what you're doing. I call you a true guiding light. I really
Oh, that's
do,
awesome.
Dr. Zeno. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Um,
much for this opportunity. Thank you.
yeah. So where can we go to learn more about you and that?
So guys, just the best way, I'm not here to sort of thing. Just if you go to Facebook is very busy and right now. So Instagram to me just seems the best way. I like Instagram because number one, I spend very little time on Instagram. It's a platform that I don't want you guys spending time on social media. It's such a waste of time.
Mm.
So Instagram could be quick. And I'll tell you a hack you'll do with that. So just follow me at Dr. Zaino. It's DRZAINO, DRZAINO. So at Dr. Zaino, I answer all my messages. I answer all the comments. A lot of times I'm going to just pretty much do a lot of stories. So it's up to date. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. And if we want to work together, I could get you my email and stuff like that. But also a great hack I do with Instagram is now more than ever, you must protect your heart, your eyes, and your mind and what you listen to, right?
Mm.
So what I liked about Instagram, because you have a lot of followers, on my feed, I'm able to select who I see. I have in there, my feed is just filled with the highest mindset, um, winning. I become inspired by seeing them. So, like for instance, The Rock or Rafael
Yes.
Nadal, the tennis player. I mean, like just excellence, excellence. So my
Hmm.
whole feed, guys, is excellent, excellent. The stories, real quick, excellence, excellence, excellent. So when I do go on social media, instead of leaving social media feeling judged, wrong, wow, they're winning and I'm not. It's right, wrong, good, evil, judgment, comparison, and shame, right, and guilt. That's like everybody leaves social media feeling like crap. But what I do is when I put high excellence in there, and I'm proud of them winning, it's like that little time I'm on there, it lifts me up, it motivates me. It
Yes.
doesn't make me feel like, wow, I did nothing today, and this
Hmm.
person's doing great. So I think that's a great hack. I would guys do just go through, start muting people, and and uh, and customize your feed so it's just filled with excellence and people that are aligned with your values as well.
Yeah, thank you for that hack. I think it's so important, not only in your, your life, but what you're consuming online too, especially nowadays with so much just out there to
Yeah,
filter that too. So thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. And thanks for being on the show today. Thank you for your time.
yeah. Thanks so much, Josh.
Wow, what a great conversation. Thank you, Dr. Zaino, for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for bringing inspiration to us all. You are a true guiding light. You are a true hero. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Also, thank you for watching and tuning in. As we keep this conversation going, thank you for being on this journey with me. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and share. That would mean so much to me as I'm trying to make this channel grow so I can keep this conversation going and keep sharing these wonderful, positive stories and messages out there in the world today, which we need so much more now than ever of. We need these true guiding lights. We need these stories to keep us going to our journeys of success. Thank you so much again for watching. If you're still wondering who in the heck is Joshua Kangley, please head over to www.hellomynameisjosh.com. There you can learn more about me. All you need to know about me is right there on my main website, hellomynameisjosh.com. Also, all my podcasts and show is archived there for your listening and viewing pleasure. If you have any questions about me, the show, any guests on the show, or if you think you know someone who should be on the show, please email me, josh@hellomynameisjosh.com. And remember, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central, a new Mindshift show, a new guest, a new conversation will drop. So if you want to be reminded, please turn notifications on so we can remind you when a new Mindshift show does drop. I just want to say thank you so much. It really means a lot to me, guys. We have so many more amazing guests to be on the show yet. I'm so excited where the show is going, and I'm so thankful for you and really appreciate you tuning in and watching and becoming part of this journey with me. If you can, please leave a comment. You know, I read every comment and I like to engage and respond to all comments. So please leave a comment on maybe what your favorite show has been so far, or maybe what favorite thing that Dr. Zaino said today on this show. What was it? Please comment. I will read every single one and respond as well. Again, thank you so much. My name is Joshua Kangley, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.